Hello, welcome to the Rookie CEO podcast. Today we are joined by Samantha Spillet from two businesses. I only know one of them, which is KPM.
Yes, I have two. And now I have a CIC company as well.
Oh.
As of last month, yes.
Was that three or was that just the second business?
No, that's the third.
A third?
Yes.
Look at
And
you.
I've not told anyone else, so this is an exclusive.
Oh. Well, we'll release this today then.
So tell us a little bit about KPM, Appointee and the new one.
Okay, so KPM account started in 2012. Appointee services started in 2018, and the new one actually started in 2024, but I was actually asked to take it over, so hence the third one.
That's amazing. We'll learn about them as the episode goes on, I'm sure.
Yes.
The episode of the title is... The title of the episode. It's been a long day. The title of the episode is Learn from Your Mistakes. And I think that's something that we definitely overlook. We think we failed, and then we kind of push that, and then we go on to the next thing. We don't actually analyse what's happened. And you, now having three businesses, Samantha Spillet.
Yes.
Now it's your time to spill it. How do you do it?
Okay. How do I do it? Or how do I learn? So I think it's only a failure if you don't learn by a mistake. You know, we all have failures, we all have mistakes, but if you learn from it, it's actually growth. And that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So, and then there's been a lot along the way. Of course there are, you know.
You welcome to share?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think my first one that comes to mind is I believe that my business was for everyone. And actually it's not. And that's okay to say my business isn't for everybody. We can't please everybody. So I think now I've learned that my question is, who is my business not for? I think that's the easiest question to ask. So I think, you know, in the early days, you end up, you know, taking on clients and work that is not suitable for you. And I think there's, you know, a real positive in saying no. So I think that was a huge learning curve for me in actually learning to say no.
What did it take for you to get to that point? Like, how did you get to that point? Was there something that did you get coached? Did you just have to just keep banging your head at the wall until you realised?
I think once you've reached your profit level of where you can then, you know, pick and choose work, you know, we all have to eat, we all have to earn a certain amount. But once you get to that point, you are then able to say no to the wrong work. If that makes sense. So, yeah, in the early days, you have to say yes, you know. Yeah, but after that, it is a privilege to say no.
Yeah. I guess it's the cost of saying yes. That's what someone said to me. If you say yes to the wrong thing, it might cost you more than if you'd have just said no to it.
Oh, absolutely. I had a new client come to me and he was really excited. He'd won a 12-month, you know, contract. And when we actually drilled down, he'd actually underpriced massively and he was making a loss for 12 months.
Wow.
So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did they just have to see it through because they'd signed the contract?
We were able to move a little bit of around, so he broke even, but he was working, you know, pretty much for nothing for 12 months on this contract.
Wow.
Yeah. So pricing is everything. Everything.
Do you see that as like a big mistake people make, is underselling themselves?
Absolutely. Yeah. Very few people come into, you know, their industry knowing their worth. And also is, you know, when you get more training, you get more experience, and then, you know, it's okay to increase your prices, you know, in line with that. And I think, you know, some people don't. They're too frightened to increase prices.
Yeah, I think you said that the biggest opportunity that people need to take advantage of is when they start making that profit that they require.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if people have that in their head, really. I think that's why they need an accountant. But yeah, I had it the other day where, so a lot of our work, we use internal sort of, I don't know, like team members, but they're all subcontractors. Yeah. So that in a way, some of them will be giving me quotes, and then I have to kind of juggle whether it's worth it or not. And I received a quote the other day, and I knew it was completely underpriced. But because I'm at this point now in my business where I'm not just going, oh, I need that money, so I'll say yes to it. I actually pushed back and said, I'm not going to pay you that. I need you to like double that. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's great because you're then giving them a lesson straight away. They're like, I would have paid more than that, and I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that can impact their business because they're probably underselling their services to all of their clients.
Exactly. And if you can help people see their value, that can only enhance you as well. So, yeah.
I also think sometimes if you undersell yourself, people are like, well, why is it so cheap?
Oh, yes, definitely.
It's not always a good thing to be the cheapest.
No, it's definitely not. Especially if you can validate it. That's what I love about social media, and we've discussed that in a previous episode of you're able to almost provide them and validate your services by just going, right, this is the output, this is the processes, and these are investments. Like going on and going, oh, we just invested in this, we just invested in that. It's like that's the reason why we're charging X amount. And in the creative field, I think even accountancies probably get that, because people can do it themselves. That's what people think.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they don't realise is, again, we touched on the previous episode, is you can get a cleaner, right? You can get a cleaner, they can clean your house. But they're experts. They can do a much better job than if you did it yourself.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's what you invest in.
It's your social proof, isn't it? It's, where's the evidence of your experience and that you can do a good job? Yeah.
And how do you validate that as an accountant?
It's normally your referrals, your people giving you feedback. Is if you've got somebody who's constantly referring you work and they're quite well known, that's all it takes.
Have you had a bad client that has shared poor feedback, and how have you handled it?
I think price-sensitive clients tend to want the most, and I think that's really hard. We generally don't take a lot of referrals from social media because that's where we tend to find price-sensitive clients.
Race to the bottom sometimes.
It is, yes. And a red flag for us is, if someone's had 3 accountants in the last 3 years, they're literally either looking for a low-value price, or they're looking for a certain amount of how much tax they want to pay, which obviously isn't the way it works. You pay tax on what you earn, not what you want. So we've had negative feedback, and we always work with the negative feedback. And if it's something we've done wrong, then we'll look to put it right, of course.
Yeah,
it is the thing. Not getting offended by negative feedback, because there's always something to it. Like sometimes you think, oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but you still have to take it on board regardless.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, all feedback is helpful. And when we ask, our clients for feedback, if they say, oh no, everything's absolutely perfect, we always say, if there was one thing we could improve or one thing we could, be different, because that's where the value is. Yeah, is them extra bits.
And even the positive feedback is valuable, because then where your niche is. Yeah. Like if somebody says something that normally they don't really see in an accountancy firm, straight away you're like, we didn't really think about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I do focus on that with my clients, is like, what are you offering your client? What are you giving your clients that isn't on the invoice? Because that's really what your niche is. That's what your selling point is, and you're not really knowing about it.
Yeah, and I guess it's asking for feedback regularly, because if it's got to the point where they're leaving and they've given the bad feedback, this was on you really for not checking in enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm more than happy to plug it, because we are also certified. But iTrust is a great opportunity there.
It is, yes. We're certified too by the iTrust for both businesses.
Certified. But what I love about that as well is I see quite a lot of people saying this is, if you've got positive feedback, please leave it on Google. If you've got negative feedback, please leave it on iTrust. And the reason being that, because obviously it can impact them. But with iTrust, it is great, because you can send them a QR code, and we all are fully aware, if they have anything negative to say, they're more likely to say that than they are if it's positive.
Yeah.
So it's kind of promoting that process rather than having your Google listed, because once your Google business profile has a bad review, it's quite hard to get that off.
It is, yes. We tend to reach out once a year to our clients and ask for quality assurance, because it is so valuable.
Yeah, and
it isn't just a tick box.
Times change as well. Like people, all of our priorities change. There'll be apps out there that might be going, oh, this app does that, why don't you do that?
Yeah,
and you might not even seen that. Like even as creators, we're having to constantly fight this battle of, right, what's new with AI? How can we utilize AI more today? Hey, Hev, have you heard of IT Managed Services? They're an IT support service based in Kent.
Yeah, I've been with them for over a year now. I love being able to just call them at any point and they take over my computer and fix the issue so much quicker than spending hours on Google.
Why have you kept that to yourself all this time? Right, I need to sign up to these guys. What's their website?
It's it-ms.co.uk or you can call 01634 218 362.
Obviously, you say you're running now free business. Have you ever had kind of lessons you've learnt with hiring? Because obviously I know you've got quite a big team. Have you had like challenges in the past where you think, oh I'll never do that again?
Absolutely. We have 22 employees and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way of what works for us, or what works for the person, the individual. The workplace culture is everything. That can make or break a business. So it is so important, to get it right.
Yeah, because all you need is one bad egg and it can ripple out into the whole business. And then obviously that's when your productivity goes down. I don't think people value the culture enough.
No.
Because if they're happy, they're going to be doing a good job. Well, 9 times out of 10 anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
How long was it when you had one business?
So for 6 years, I only had one business.
Okay. So what was the trigger point of, I'm going to start this new business?
Well, it actually happened naturally. I got a social worker come to me to ask me if I could provide a service that I'd previously been employed for at the council. So it was, are you able to do this? So that was kind of how it all started, really.
Okay.
It wasn't me searching a second company or even the third. They've just come naturally. So.
And did you was your perception then I've learned a lot of mistakes from my first company, so I can grow this one quicker? Or...
And they're completely separate companies. So what works in one would not work in the other. So like, for example, the capacity model. So we have a capacity model in KPM accounts. So once we're up to 80% capacity, I'll look to hiring somebody new. With appointee services, that capacity model is only 70% because recruitment's so hard. And yet, in accountancy, there is a level of qualification and experience, and that is quite easier to find.
Do you have challenges where, because your companies are so different, when you're networking and you're making it transparent that you have both these companies or even 3 of these companies now, do you fear that people aren't taking you as seriously in one industry than the other?
I don't network for appointee services. I never have done. It's such a niche area that generally people are not even aware of what we do. I do tell people, but I don't think I've ever had a referral from networking.
So do you do that like purposely then to just make sure that people are aware that your expertise lies in the accountancy side of things? Yeah. And what is this new business?
The new one, or appointees. So appointee services is we manage personal finances for vulnerable adults. So we work with local authorities all over the country, from Wales down to Plymouth, down to, up to Leeds, right across the country. And we've got 600 clients in this area. And we're growing at a rate of 25, 30 new clients every month.
And the CIC?
That is, so we provide experts in helping people access the welfare benefit system.
Okay.
Now, I know the welfare benefit system has such a bad press, but there's a lot of genuine people out there that generally need help. And it has got tougher, and rightly so. But there are people out there that, really do need help in that area. So that's what they provide.
Wow.
I always got confused because I've got a few clients now that are LLPs and CICs, and I'm not really, I'm not an expert in that. Why?
Yeah, so a CIC is a non-profit.
Okay.
So, that's the difference. So we make a profit, but a certain percentage of the profit is given to people who really do need our service that aren't able to pay for it. So.
Oh, wow.
It is a way, of
That's
giving
amazing.
back to the community.
Wow. And do you think kind of there's some mistakes that if you was to do it all over again, you'd think that's something I'm definitely not going to do again? Is there like one that's like kind of stuck out to you?
Yes, I think so now we hire for attitude, not skills. I can teach skills. I can't teach attitude, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the workplace culture is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had this episode before, really. It's the people that I work with. Like, I could find somebody who's amazing at what they do, but if they're an arsehole, I'm not working with them.
No,
No matter
that's
how
right.
cheap they could be,
Yeah.
it's just not worth it. Because at the end of the day, if we're going to run our own businesses, we have the power. As employees, we don't. We don't have the power to who we work with. We only can influence. Whereas if we're going to be running our own business, we have the power on who to work with, how to work with, and why not utilize that power?
Yeah, for me, it's everybody's got to work together as a team, because when someone's off, they can have a little bit more pressure because we have to cover the other person. And I don't want anyone, feeling that if they're not happy to cover somebody else. So everybody has to work together. And we work with vulnerable people, so they have to be passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
It's not just a place to earn money, it's a place to care. So that's really important to us.
And how did you learn that mistake then?
They're taking on the wrong people along the way.
Come on, give us the gossip. Spill it.
No, there's no real bad stories at all. It's just, they're just not, a right fit for us. There's no passion, there's no commitment. It was just coming to work to earn a wage. And our industry doesn't pay huge amounts, so it's not about money.
New lead came in on Tuesday. I meant to follow up actually, but I got a bit busy. And then it was Friday, then the following Wednesday, and then they went with someone else. Someone else. Naming no names. I know it was you, Dave. Fuzzy Logic sends automated follow-ups the moment a lead lands. Email, SMS, WhatsApp, while you're doing, well, whatever you want. Book a free demo at fuzzylogic.systems.
Yeah.
What would you advise a younger Samantha then, who, we've all gone through it, we've all had anxiety, we've all had a really poor email, really bad email from a client telling you off. I'm trying not to swear now, but what would you tell her?
I would tell her, don't take business personally or emotionally, because that was me 10 years ago. Very emotional, as you say, and if you got a bad email, it would really affect you. It'd affect your home life, but it's not worth it.
No.
Never make a decision when you're emotional, or send that email when you're emotional.
Don't go shopping when you're hungry, that's what I say.
Yeah, it's always like come back to it the next day when you've thought about it. Because I mean, probably still sometimes do now, but when I first started, I was like literally the end of the world if something was. And it probably wasn't even written negatively, but you've perceived it that way as an email, and you don't know how they've written that email.
Yeah, I think the trigger point there is, we've already mentioned it, the whole, once you start making profit, where you're comfortable, it's really hard not to take it personally when you're kind of relying on this paycheck. You're kind of going, oh God, if he doesn't pay me, or if they don't pay me, then I'm going to have to go kind of just brown nose this until they pay me. Whereas actually I learned from this, I'll know now that if this type of person wants to use our services, I'll tell them where to go.
Politely.
Yeah, I think you do sometimes feel in the early days that you're being held to ransom by certain clients, because you're like, this is why I always try to never be reliant on one particular client. I know I've spoken to people before and they kind of have this one big client, and if they were to go, then the whole business kind of like falls down. So I always try and make sure there's an even spread, because I don't want to be just reliant on one person, because then they do kind of hold all of the cookies in your basket.
I think it's fair to say that to be successful, we have to fail. I think it just helps people realise that now as well, when they are in that point where they've just failed, that they go, right, I can still make a success of this. I don't have to just quit. You've already shared yours. What's been your sort of biggest failure you think that you've learned from anyway?
A biggest lesson, probably is saying no. Yeah. I said yes to loads of random things, and I think at one point I was answering someone's emails and I thought, I've studied 4 years at universities for marketing. Why have I agreed to answer this person's emails? I'm not their admin assistant.
Yeah, I think that's so common. I think that'll probably be mine as well. You end up just doing stuff that you're not actually. Yeah.
It just felt too awkward to say no.
Yeah, you end up washing their clothes. And
I was doing it for ages. I thought, why am I doing this?
Yeah. It is crazy. When we're desperate for money, we say yes to anything. Yeah. So what would be your biggest advice then to people that are in that boat now? What would you say to them?
Biggest advice, I think it's just get really confident in what you offer. Because if you're confident translating it, it's normally confidently received.
Yeah.
And don't try and price match other people to an extent. Obviously, you need to be competitive, but also you're pricing it on you, not them.
This is it. I remember business, like when I studied business back at school, when they were so hot on market research, price research, all that stuff. And I'm just like, I won't lie to you, like you all know what you're worth, and you're all going to have that 5%. It's just finding that 5% rather than trying to please everyone. And you've begun that full circle where you basically just said, like, understand who you're not for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Right. Random question of the episode.
Yeah, so we're finishing every episode in season 2 with just a random question that I pluck from my head. If you had to travel to France, would you prefer to travel by train?
It's so odd. This is getting more random every episode.
By train, car or plane?
Do you know what? I'm actually going to the south of France on the 3rd of July, so my trip's already booked.
Tell us how you're getting there.
By aeroplane, because we looked into the train and it was 8 hours, and it was like, no, it's only like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
It depends what part of France you're going to.
But then you're still stuck in the airport for a while.
Oh, it's fine.
Security.
It's air conditioned. It's not long.
Yeah. For me, it would depend what part of France I was going to.
Yeah. So we drove, when we went to Disneyland Paris, we drove.
I think that's quite close to Calais, though, isn't it?
It's about 3 hours.
Near the Eurostar, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there you go. Leave it in the comments. Would you?
Yeah, leave it in the comments.
How you would get to France.
Completely separate to the episode title. How would you get to France? Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we'll see you again next week for another episode of the Rookie CEO podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.